Welcome to the GG Circuit uh, show, diddly do, town hall, all about ggRock. Um, we were scrambling there for the last minute because I'm a noob, I guess, when it comes to technology after being involved for however long. It looks good to me. I'm on the Twitch page, so this is Mikhail Neveroff. He is not necessarily a Zach replacement, but for ggRock, he's a Zach replacement. And we'll be talking all about ggRock, which is a super exciting software tool that we've been working on for the last year and a half plus. Let me provide just kind of the layman version of this. Okay, so we've talked about our background many times. We've talked about how we've been doing brick and mortar locations since 2004. We've been doing consulting for 4 or 5 years now. And the biggest thing that folks struggle with are game updates. Bottom line, like, sure, you're going to run into customer issues and you're going to run into technology issues from time to time, but we've utilized competitors in the past that this type of technology just makes it insanely easier to keep your place efficient. Because as you know, games change all the time. Patches come through, new apps have new versions that all need to be updated on every PC. And so if you're not hip to what Diskless is, if you're not hip to what ggRock is, it is a PXE software technology that runs on a server in-house. What ggRock does, it allows you to update one PC instead of 20, 40, 60 plus, however many you have in your store. Doesn't require hard drives in the PCs. And really allows you peace of mind to, as far as people messing with the PCs or anything like that. On reboot, it's going to go to your latest update of the image and provide you that pristine image after every reboot, as well as saving you an insane amount of time making sure that games are updated. So that's my layman. This is why Diskless happens.
All right, so just to welcome you here today for this town hall, we are presenting a couple of things, starting with our most recent updates, ggRock 1.0 and ggRock 0.9, and the features that were brought in by these specific updates. You can see that now we're looking at the ggRock 1.0, but I will give Jason McIntosh here a little bit to talk about what will be on this specific call in town hall and what we'll touch on.
Yeah, so the main purpose of this is really just to give everybody an update that we're here. We've been working on this for the last year and a half. We've had close to 200 locations utilizing us in what we would call early access. It's been a passion of ours to take what's out there in the industry and make it twice as good. And I think the biggest thing for us from a ggRock perspective is, this is not just for esports centers. It's its main purpose right now, but anybody watching this that runs an image for a business, a school, etc., could use ggRock by itself to manage that as well. We've had a great group of early access folks all over the world that have utilized ggRock, seen its performance increase, seen its simplicity, of course, grow over that year and a half as well. And so we're here not only just to provide, what is part of the 1.0 package, but the pricing, which a lot of people have been asking about.
Naturally, and with this I will segue into the recent updates, then we will talk about the pricing and new exciting features moving forward, and also afterwards we'll kind of step back and describe a bit about the foundation of the ggRock system and what it's good for and why you might consider this if you are new with us. So switching this back to ggRock. Most of you have already seen a similar interface. Some of you didn't, but this is how ggRock 1.0 looks like. We've went ahead and implemented a lot of changes around the user experience and design. As you would know, previously it was very to the point and focused specifically around the kind of the features, but now we really are taking into account the experience that users are having with our software.
Do you think you could zoom that in just a little bit?
Absolutely, I can. That is a great suggestion. Thank you, JMac. So here, as you can see, we now moved from the top nav to a bottom to the side nav, just like ggLeap has, and overall sharing some of the similarities with ggLeap software. Generally, PCs are now way more straightforward, and managing is more straightforward. You can see that I will just run through a few most exciting features. First of all, if you hover over a PC now, you can see that there is this quick action menu that appears that actually, instead of going here and going for the settings bar, you can go ahead and just click on this cogwheel and get the settings brought up right here, which we hope will save you one click at a time, but over a period of months of usage, will save you quite a bit of while. One other thing here would be to just actually touch on the new columns, which is the link speed, which was long awaited. Now we can actually detect and report on link speed. As you can see here in our center and eBash Terahode, there is one little nasty PC that actually has a link speed of 100 megabit per second, which might not be optimal for gaming. So you will actually get this status and clearly see that this is something that needs action. One other thing here is these names, these PC names, now apply to actual desktop Windows names. I know that some of our customers had this request for a while for some of the enterprise software that they run, and this should really help you differentiate the PCs for TeamViewer and other purposes. Other things here include just a general improvement in settings, new tabs that are more readable, way easier to actually access the hardware information. And this is a very exciting feature that we actually rolled out, is snapshot selection. So if for any reason you need to test a new snapshot, you can always select a snapshot for that specific PC and then test something. Be mindful that you can only apply right back to machines that have these green snapshots. So if you don't use this essentially latest snapshot, you won't be able to apply your write back. But please, if you do this, make sure that this is for testing mostly and debugging. But this can be extremely useful for some cases and some software. Moving forward, our array is largely unchanged, just tied up, cleaned up with what we have here and how we've built the rest of the 1.0 experience. You can see now for images, it's also largely the same. However, right now the image details is way detailed and different. You can see here that the snapshots and writebacks menus actually were moved into their own separate page, so you can actually interact with them much more comfortably. And there is quite a bit here as well that can grab your attention. First of all, you can see this cleanup column. We introduced a few patches back a feature for automatic cleanup of the stale snapshots and writebacks. And here you can see that this very active, like most recent snapshot, will never be deleted. However, everything in the past 14 days actually isn't here anymore. So you can see that this snapshot is from 29th of July and it's due for removal very, very soon. One other part of this is you are completely in control of what snapshots you want to keep and which ones to remove. Let's say you wanted to keep this League of Legends fix for any reason. You can lock that specific snapshot, and this would allow you to actually have it never removed, meaning that if for any reason you need to go back to that snapshot, you always have it available. One other part, if you're not happy with just getting all your snapshots removed in the past certain number of days, you can always go and navigate to settings, and in the settings menu, go to the array and images, snapshots and write-back retention settings. Here you can see that we remove all snapshots that were not used for the past 14 days. However, let's protect the last 3 snapshots. This means that any snapshot that has been created last, the second one to last, and the third one would never be deleted as indicated in this demo. This snapshot just will stay and never be removed unless you actually go ahead and try to delete them manually. Or you can always go back to settings and set this to 0. One other part to take notice, if your PCs for any reason don't come online for 24 hours, the writebacks, their difference, will be removed as to save space on your array. That is.
Let me interrupt just a second again from the noob slash uneducated point of view, is that your snapshots are your images. So your snapshots are everything that you last updated on one PC and are pushing it out to all of your PCs. And I think the other thing to keep in mind that you're talking about with those that are never being deleted and those where you're putting in, the amount of time, is that as these things build up, and you spoke about this before, but as those things build up, it could technically cause issues with your server. So you want to make sure to be aware of that and make sure you're deleting what you're not using.
Absolutely, absolutely right. And you can see that these take quite a bit of space. And once you update anything, you check that it works, and you can just set that the last few snapshots stay in case of any unexpected errors, but the rest gets cleaned up automatically. But obviously, if you have any issues with the size, you will get notifications in the software saying that, hey, you probably should consider removing some software. One other part that we integrated right into ggRock is the portal. Portal here is our way to communicate with you and work with you and show you what we're working on in particular. So you can see that some of the improvements to ggRock UI, improvements to user management system, Grafana stats in ggRock, all of that is underway and planned. There are stuff under development, and there are a lot of releases. The last release here recorded is 0.9, which brought us the seamless boot feature. You can always submit your ideas, or if you pick an idea that you specifically love, you can go into, let's say, stats, and you can say that, yeah, this is important, and also provide us some feedback so we know how we can help and improve our software with your ideas in mind. The very last part here would be settings that also got redesigned. RAM cache settings just got improved a little bit. From the usability standpoint, you can now more easily adjust what you actually allocate, but we still recommend sticking with default settings. And also, as you can clearly notice, we are operating in a dark mode UI, but you obviously can always opt in for the light theme. That is, as always, up to your discretion and will be applied to all employees in this center, which we'll touch on in a little bit.
Yeah, I think the other thing I want to mention about Portal is, if it's not obvious, the Portal stuff is what helps drive our software development and our software roadmap. We obviously have a core amount of things we want to develop and add into future versions, but any feedback that we get from the community is great. Obviously we have Discord support, we have web admin support where folks are putting in ideas and stuff like that. But the more things that get voted on, the more things that get suggested, is more likely that it'll be added into future versions faster.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Jamie. So we do encourage you to go to the portal, review the current cards, and just suggest a way, because we are we're acting on them, we're recording them, and making sure that we can prioritize our backlog. Going through the settings network for now just indicates whether or not your virtual machines will be operational. Array and images we already kind of glanced through, but just make sure that your warning thresholds and reserved disk space are always above 10 and 15% respectively, because having 0% array space will effectively shut down your machines and just not allow you to run the center, and this reserved disk space allows you to prevent that. So you won't be able to boot any machines other than the ones that are already running when you hit this threshold. But if you don't have this threshold, everything that is already running will most likely crash. Software update experience is something that we redesigned significantly and improved in feature and just quality. Here you can see that you're up to date. Current version is 1.0.0.1, and this is your latest update. And you can see a new little button. Obviously, you always were able to see the patch notes in our dedicated Google documents. But what is important and what we feel very strongly about is giving you more tools to work with your downgrades. Specifically, you can see that you can downgrade to the previous 1.0 version or even to 0.9 and the core 0.9. If you really want, you can even go before 0.9, but the idea behind this experience is to instill confidence in you updating early, testing this for yourself, and being sure that at any point in time you can roll back and get back to the stable situation. The other part here that is currently just a placeholder is your subscription information that allows you to see how many machines and what is your expiration date. And the most important and very exciting part about the 1.0 update is the employees. And you will have to excuse me for a second. I need to unlock my key storage. You would have to enjoy my black screen that protects my security whilst I enter my master password. We should be back on track now. And just for a brief...
I can always entertain if you need to.
I mean,
musical interlude or something.
I am tempted to just pause for a little longer for that. But here I am entering my password again to enter the employee management account. As you can see, this is the employees that ggLeap Terre Haute Center have. And you can see that they have different roles. And you can manage them from here and they will be reflected in ggLeap. This is the unified employee management experience. And if you go here to edit in permissions, you naturally can have different ggRock permissions, and we'll touch on that. But you also have ggLeap permissions to manage, and it is centralized and has exactly the same experience as ggLeap. There are two parts to be aware of. First, this owner tab. ggRock owner role is important for you to be able to perform basic operations and use ggRock, because ggRock license depends on this owner. So when you first log into ggRock, this owner is set. And if you for any reason need to change this, you can change owner, selecting the new user. But generally, it should be the person with most admin privileges, and just make sure to never delete this user, because if you delete the user without changing the owner, you will have to re-log into ggRock again. It's not a big issue, but still making this available. We also have roles that you can use for anything you like. For example, you can add a role saying ggRock maintainer. I'm terribly sorry. Yeah. And maintainer. This means that you can select that a person can only view machines, array, and images, can manage machines and writebacks, and that's it. This means that this person would be able to apply writebacks after they update games, but would not be able to destroy your array, delete or copy any images, manage or delete any old snapshots, manage backups, settings, or update ggRock. And we'll make sure to take into your feedback to further improve the granularity of these permissions. But in general, we feel like it is a very strong first step for all of the enterprise clients that need to diversify their employees that can actually access the system, and also secure their access to make sure that their master account never is shared with anybody else. So this is us touching on the employees and one of the most exciting parts about this update. One other little thing that I just was reminded is that now you can easily, and I'll just do it, I won't be doing this because some of these machines are actually working right now in the center, but you can shut them down and reboot them even without ggLeap installed. So it is completely autonomous and doesn't rely on ggLeap. The only feature right now that relies on ggLeap being present is display resolution and display refresh rate, which you first need to set the resolution and then the refresh rate. However, we endeavor to change that and integrate display resolution and refresh rate in ggRock, so you don't have to rely on any additional software, even as good as ggLeap one. This would mostly conclude the changes for 1.0. For 0.9, the most important and exciting part that I want to bring here would be seamless boot. Seamless boot is our most exciting research and development project to date that we feel very strongly about. The idea for the project is just you being able to add your new hardware within minutes. No more hard drive swapping, no more ggRock image creation tool, none of that. Let me show you in the old UI how it works. I'm going to play this video, and this has some speed. Some places will be sped up a little bit, but you'll always see the multiplier here, and this entire process took us less than 10 minutes.
This is how to use new seamless boot system. Press import image, select Windows edition that you want, in this case UEFI. Wait for it to be downloaded, then extracted and imported into your ggRock instance. Now go to image and press add new hardware. You will be greeted with instructions, proceed next. Now wait for the toolchain to update itself, and once it's updated, you can boot the PC. Here on the left you can see,
just to give you an idea, on the left is me just remoting into actual PC in eBash, meaning that this is physical and not a VM.
See a real PC you're remoting into. Now it'll take a little bit for scanning the machines. You can turn on the PC now. We see the PC boot. Now ggRock will do a couple of magic with collecting your data from the PC. Once it's done, it'll apply that data and reboot your device. Kindly wait for this prompt, and now it's finished. You can see that there is a new snapshot with the nick.
I'm terribly sorry, I'll just update the quality.
Data. Now let's see how it reboots itself automatically into the new image that will just work. As you can see, we have the link speed, we have Windows, and just right like that, in under 10 minutes, your new hardware is good to go. It works for new images and for old images too.
So this is kind of the killer feature that we released with 0.9. Not many people got to experience it yet, simply because you all are already set up. So this is one of the things that you can do now rather easily for all of your new hardware. And we sincerely believe that using this seamless boot experience should massively, and I mean massively, and let me show you how it will look like in the new design system, simplify the way you bring in new hardware and also update your software. So once you go, it will update the toolchain in case there are any new updates, scan the machines. Once it detects the new machine being booted up, it will essentially boot the machine and add NIC data to the image. Once that's done, it'll reboot the machine automatically and finish the process. A couple of benefits that this provides is, and just to give you an idea here, when you do Windows updates, previously, specifically major version Windows updates, you would have to resort to installing the Windows from scratch, or using your current Windows, creating an ISO file, mounting this to the hard drive, booting Windows from that hard drive, updating all of your Windows and related software, then using ggRock image creation tool to create a VHD, then import said VHD into ggRock. Right now, you don't need to do any of that. All that is required for you to update Windows is to get a VM that you already have, make sure that the VM is set to local drives connection and not network. So I will actually have to offline the VM real quick. So making sure that the VM settings, your drives connection is local and not network, will allow you to update Windows and even update the network drivers. Essentially everything that Windows update on Pixie boot, on Diskless boot machine breaks, we don't care about with a VM. This means that you can actually keep up to date with all of the security patches, feature improvements, and major Windows versions. This is something that we're also extremely excited for in a 0.9 update. Altogether, ggRock 1.0 right now, as we see it, is a feature-full, fleshed out product that is ready to be recommended to your friends, support your current and future installs, and generally go into production and be worthy of a price. I'll slowly segue into the pricing discussion. JMac, do you want to pick anything up, or we can proceed?
No, I mean, I can talk about the pricing a little bit if you'd like me to. I do have the sheet in front of me. So like, what I've said before, ggRock is different than ggLeap, is that it's not cloud-based at the moment. So it does require a server to have in-house that runs ggRock properly. I'm always the one that is giving kudos to Neveroff, because I just know how hard it is to write documentation, and good documentation, and put a lot of time in. But if you guys have not been out to help.ggcircuit.com and gone into the ggRock section, he's just done a masterful job at being able to provide all the details that someone would be needing from scratch, to pick the right server, to choose the right hardware that goes along well with ggRock. So
I would have to
with that
shout
said,
out Jacob, who has actually picked up most of the work
Jacob
now.
too. Yeah, absolute. You're correct. So we have done this pricing a little bit different than ggLeap, in that it is not a per PC subscription, but more of a subscription based on server builds and the amount of PCs that those server builds can support. So we, from one PC to over 200 plus PCs, we have supported with this software, with less need for hardware than competitors, and from our benchmarks, twice as fast. So our initial level is up to 40 PCs, $100 a month, or $1,000 a year, which gets you 2 months off. From 40 PCs to 80 PCs, I guess I should specifically say 41 to 80, but it'll be $250 a month or $2,500 a year. Again, all annual subscriptions are 2 months off. And then the third server build, which again, all of that information is in the help site, but also here in the add-on packages that I'm looking at, is $400 a month or $4,000 a year for 80 plus PCs. We as ggLeap do consulting services, and we do a lot of Pixie server builds, and we work with a few hardware entities that have SKUs in their system that are optimized for ggRock. So I don't know if that's in the article you're showing, but we have specific server build packages and costs that go along with this.
I don't believe
in addition to the subscription. So just to kind of give you an overall, if you say, hey, I don't want to build the server, ggCircuit build the server, or provide me a hardware provider to give me a server that's optimized for my amount of PCs. The up to 40 PCs is $4,500. The up to 80 PCs is $6,000. The up to 80 and more is $7,500 for the server that needs to go on premise. The other caveat to that is that we don't always provide servers for international customers. So you may need to look at the detail in those help documents to be able to put together the right server hardware, or hire someone to put the server for you on an international basis. Until COVID travel is a little more less restricted and so on and so forth, our consulting team won't be shipping servers or building servers remotely, but we will work with your team. Obviously, there's a cost involved there, but we, especially in the US, North America, we can do all that stuff for you if that's not something you want to deal with. Let's talk about tier 2 support. So we do have a tier 2 support. Well, there's two things. We do have just kind of a general community support within our Discord server, which is discord.ggcircuit.com. And the community channel is a little bit slower response in regards to our support stuff, and those are mainly our support chat folks that will be providing you insight of what they can, as well as providing you articles from the help site that go along with your issue. And that's free. Oftentimes we get folks that are, have a major issue and they want a higher level of support. So we do have a subscription service for that tier 2 support, which, correct me if I'm wrong, does provide you a dedicated Discord chat channel with the team, or is it that just 24-hour turnaround?
It is, just to give you a general idea, yeah. The free one is naturally something that is available in Discord in the community channel, and also just your general interaction with our intercom support here on the very bottom. So this is the chat support with our team to be able to just ask any questions, and you'll get answers that are mostly from this user base and this help manual provided by our helpful staff and our level 1 engineers on the line. However, if you want to have development, essentially tier 2 like developer and very deep engineering support, for example, you have a complex build, a sort of a different setup, or you just want to be sure that you will be tended to in case of emergency, even on the weekend, you can subscribe to a tier 2 support package, which will give you essentially live chat as soon as possible throughout the work week, and in case of emergencies on the weekends as well. However, being ggRock moving to a paid plan, and you paying for your subscription now would also guarantee you tier 2 availability within 72 business hours or 3 business days. So if there is an issue, once we migrated to the paid plans, if there is an issue that our support cannot handle or solve over the first line, you can always submit it, and within 72 hours we will get back to you from our tier 2 line with our development and our developers to help and advise and direct you, maybe with a little remote session. It is not as exhaustive and not as urgent or quick as the tier 2 support package, but that is exactly the point, because we would encourage you to get the tier 2 if you are not exactly sure or need just the best possible operational experience. That being said, there is one feature that we dig into for everybody, and in any case, and that is seamless boot. So if you have any experiences and any issues with using seamless boot, like this specific issue, this specific feature, you can always ask in this chat and you will be helped and developers will be on the case. That also is the case for the errors that might be caused by ggRock itself. There is very few of them, and up to date there wasn't any errors that prevented machines from booting on ggRock side for our entire history. The only issues that prevented machines from booting were always hardware issues or network issues. So we're very confident that your core operations, your mission critical stuff will be working even without the tier 2 subscription. We want to make abundantly clear that we're focused on delivering robust, stable and performant solution. So that is kind of the update to support experience. Just to summarize it, everybody on the paid plan will have a 3 business days escalation policy to tier 2. Everybody who wants to get instant or responses over the weekend in extra situation, emergency situations, you're welcome to subscribe to tier 2, which is $2,000 US per year. Gemma, back to you. Also believe you're on mute.
I am on mute. Thank you. I think that covers it for now. Obviously, you can go to blog.ggcircuit.com. We did kind of an in-depth thing about ggRock and the pricing release, etc. Or you can go out to ggRock.com. At any rate, we're still working on the subscription website and stuff, which will become available at the beginning of September when we do the official kickoff. I think September 1st is the date. Is that correct?
Yeah, it will be the date, and we'll go more in depth about how that rolls out a bit later.
Yeah, there's 12 different ways from Tuesday that you can contact us, whether it's social channels, Discord, the web chat, email, etc. If you want ggRock, you want to test it out, we do have a 30-day demo so that you can test it out on your own hardware. And yeah, I mean, it just continues to gain momentum, and a lot of people are taking it on and liking it a lot. I think we can kind of move on to the add-ons and stuff that we're considering for the future.
Yeah, I will be covering some of these things, and just to give you an update on the statistics, we're actually 32 machines off of our great 5,000 machines mark. We're almost there after this time, so I'm grateful. I'm sure we'll hit this before September, and it will be an amazing achievement. Just to give you more idea about the support, just harkening back to that real quickly, some of you own chains of stores, and obviously you have the same personnel that attends to every location, and we can appreciate not being exactly reasonable to charge 2,000 per location, taking into account that the same staff will be attending all of these. So we are offering a 500 US per year additional fee to enable tier 2 support for locations that are supported internally and managed internally by your team. So that is absolutely the case and absolutely possible. Now for the exciting stuff. We have 3 great features waiting for you in the coming month. We expect them to be rolling out throughout the Q3 and Q4 in 2021. And we'll start with automated game updates. Automated game updates is the feature that will allow us to, in a VM that your ggRock already has, run scripts and programs to launch the game launchers, to update the games there and save the write back, save the snapshot. This means that if you're subscribed to that essential package, this will be an add-on package to ggRock, you will be able to get most of your games, and this will be we'll be building on top of that to support as many games as we can. Most of the games updated right on the date, on the spot, even if you're sleeping and your center is running, server is just quietly working away on updating the actual games. It will be a massive improvement from our current ggLeap. You can think about ggLeap auto login that we use for game launch, but we'll go way more in depth and actually integrate with launchers, script around, and make sure that your games are updated exactly like you set them. So this is the first kind of important part that we'll start working on in September once we're through with this kind of subscription part and all of this change to the paid approach. This is right now will be the local scripted way to update your games. The other one, which is the cloud image subscription now, will be different. It will be something that you actually see in your images here. You could already see import image subscription. Instead of creating your own image, you will be able to subscribe to a game image that we, ggCircuit, will manage and also provide updates for. So the main idea of this feature is to let you actually just not worry even about scripts. This will be done by our team that will be manually going through the update process, updating the games on that specific image, and then it will be shipped. The difference between the previous image and the current snapshot, if we were technical, will be shipped over the internet. So not 3 terabytes, but maybe like, if it's Fortnite update, like a few gigabytes will be sent to you, and it will just create a new snapshot without anybody's involvement. This is an exciting feature that we want to really work in parallel with regarding the automated game updates. Most likely they will be complementing each other to a degree. It will be up to you to pick which of the update approaches is best for you. And naturally, these will have limited and specifically selected number of games from the start. That means that you may ask, you can't change the game image. That would be the case for this specific image, but what we're working on right now is allowing you to select more than one game image per machine. This means that you will have, for example, a subscribed game image that's read-only, you can't change it, and you have a custom game image for your specific games. And you can customize this however you like, and this kind of 1-2 approach will allow you to always step on top of the recent releases and virtually never arrive to your center to see a Fortnite update that needs done. So that is the second exciting feature. The third one is mostly for everybody's safety and just calm, good sleep. System image cloud backup. Now, system images are the most important part of your image library because they contain most of your installations and drivers for your Windows and everything that allows you to actually boot the machines. Let's say you have 5 different types of hardware. Previously with ggRock image creation tool, it would take you several hours to get them up and running. Right now with seamless boot, it would take you several tens of minutes to get them up and running. But still, in a very important and crucial time, these minutes can be deciding. So what we will propose and develop is a form of system image cloud backup that will allow you to back up your images to our cloud. They will be encrypted, they will be stored securely and in a safe manner that will allow you to retrieve them on demand. Our initial, and this is tentative, as all of the prices here, our initial assessment is that we will be actually able to do this for free, for no cost to you, back them up. However, the restore might cost something. It is still up in the air. We need to assess and actually finish implementing the minimum viable prototype. But once done, we will provide you a very simple kind of ease of mind option to know that your system image is always protected. Foreseeing any questions for game images. Doing the same for game images is something that we have in our mind. However, it's important to realize that restoring a game image, let's say it's 3 terabytes, restoring a game image of 3 terabytes will take, given that you have 1 gigabit uplink to your center, it'll take 7 hours, which might most likely be not preferred. It also will be more costly than this price. So right now, we want to start small, we want to start important with system images, and then work our way and assess whether or not we can do the same for game images. Now, just to give you a few ideas about some edge cases, First of all, failover redundant servers. We know that some of you already have failover redundant servers, and we also want to offer you a 50% discount. So on any server that is on your location that acts as a backup or failover server, you would actually only need to pay 50% of the ggRock subscription price. So if you're 40 machines strong, you will pay 100 for your main server and 50 for the backup server. One other part here would be that transition plan to this specific pricing is laid out right in front of you. Right now is August, so it's time to assess, prepare, voice your concerns, and generally contact and reach out to maybe suggest something or tell us your story, tell us your case. We do believe, based on our market research and specifically researching and reaching out to many of our customers, making sure that they represent all of the size of centers, that this is the fair price for the value that ggRock as a product brings to your business. Meaning that on September 1st, there will be a ggRock 1.1 release. That release will be mostly cosmetic, improving on ggRock 1.0, and it will also bring out the subscription page. And give me a second. So this is generally, at the first glance, how your subscription page will look like. You will be able to manage yourself and use your cards via Stripe payment processing to pick your size, pick your billing period, pick your additional options, and proceed. So this is what we're working on right now. So you no longer will have to go through PayPal or ACH or Swift wires, nothing of that. Just a simple subscription that you can manage on your own. All of our custom offers, all of our university pricing and enterprise pricing obviously will stay and will be preserved. So you don't have to worry about this. Nobody is getting kicked off of their current plans that were agreed upon. Once September 1st rolls around, you will all be enrolled into a trial. This trial will last up until October 1st, and on October 1st, we will do two things. The trials will expire, so anybody on the trial for ggRock 1.1 will have to either assess their options or pay for the subscription. The second part is also important. Every version of ggRock software prior to 1.1 will be discontinued. This means that you will no longer be able to use ggRock prior to ggRock 1.1. This means that we encourage you to update as soon as possible to 1.0 to assess the new experience, to make sure that you see the value in what we're bringing to you and you're all right and great and comfortable with where we're heading as a company. So update soon, update early to 1.0, assess the latest features, and come September 1st, you will be able to pick and proceed. Hopefully most of you proceed with us and into the bright future. This is the general outline of the 1.0, 0.9 updates, as well as our pricing announcement and features going forward. Back to you, J-Mac.
Yeah, I think the only thing I had to add is that, I've had some questions about whether or not we're going to do a reseller program or anything like that, for ggRock. And we're just going to do a wait and see approach. Like, with ggLeap, we didn't do resellers until who knows how many customers we had. It's been too long ago. I can't remember last week, but, we'll assess it. We'll see if it makes sense or not. The elephant in the room is CC Boot, and they do different prices around the world. Would be our competitor for ggRock. So it makes sense for us to do that, but we won't do it immediately. And I'm the keeper of all the resellers. So if you are an existing reseller, you'll be the first to know whether or not we're going to do a ggRock reseller program.
Absolutely.
Other than that, Neverov is the grand poobah of ggRock, and he is the all-knowing, all-seeing of what goes on, and his expertise in this area is pretty much second to none. So you know, if you get into support, you're talking to our chat folks. He's really the guy behind the curtain making most of the support calls and stuff. Besides Jacob, you know, his peer on the ggRock side, and so he doesn't sleep a lot, and he is truly never off. Pretty much, so I can almost always get him 24 hours. So I appreciate you coming on and kind of being the leader of this stream. We will be posting this. I'll go back and edit it a little bit and post it on YouTube probably on Monday, but then we'll post it into all the different support channels and socials, so that if you guys didn't catch all of this the first time around, you can either see it on replay here or you can look on YouTube. So we'll be providing that. But all in all, thank you everybody for joining us, and we look forward to you using this incredible tool in your location and saving yourself a bunch of money. I think what we had in that stat is about, instead of hiring someone to do all your game updates, you're going to save yourself about $14,000 in staff costs per year. So if you like saving money and you like being efficient, ggRock, baby.
All right. Yeah, and with this, 1 hour afterwards, thank you very much, everybody. We'll be reaching out with more blog posts. Keep your eyes peeled on our blog platform, because ggRock will be prominent there alongside ggLeap. And we're happy to seeing you in a month or so time. Goodbye.
Yep. All right. Take care.